Welcome in to the new members and to the old members that have found their way back to the community. I need you just as much as you need me. As we can see on this morning's update, before we start, XRP is up 2.22%, up to 62.5 cents. We're going to continue to talk about the fact where our major resistance is at 63.3 cents. And if we can get back over the top of that, how we do have a really nice chance here of breaking to the top side. XRP right now, as we know, is in a bullish setup on a cup and handle, and we're trying to push out of a bullish handle. As long as that handle breaks up and we eventually push up and out, the major resistance on that handle is around 73 cents. If we break over that and hold, that is how we start a new, fresh, bullish push here. And the technical target would be between $1.17 and $1.20. Now, we do know everything that has a reaction or doesn't act the way we want would have an opposite reaction. So if it's a bullish push we're looking for, if this breaks down and we were to lose that bullish handle, you would have the same reaction to the downside. However, this is a bullish setup. So until it breaks down, we're going to be looking at the floor at 50 cents right now. So as long as 50 cents doesn't break, even if you had a catastrophic breakdown, that would still be a hold on the bullish handle. And there's a lot of things suggesting that XRP is in the midst of a big breakout here. It's just we haven't been able to get over the top just yet. We do have some news as far as the SEC, though. The SEC latest filing in Ripple lawsuit to go public, and they announced the date where it's going to go public. So we're going to be talking about that. As we get through the technical analysis, James K. Phelan had an official tweet from his X account. So we'll go through that so that we can get some updated information. And we're going to go through this in a timely fashion, probably about a 20 to 22 minute update here. So please make sure to hit that like button if you are watching so that YouTube will recommend this update. It doesn't just help the new viewers, but the old viewers as well, so that when you're on YouTube and you're scrolling through your feed so you can see what kind of information you're going to see on this Saturday morning, by you hitting that like button, YouTube will recommend my video, and then it'll pop up in the algorithm, which means when you're looking through your YouTube on the news feed, it'll pop up so you'll be able to find my station so the old users can find their way back home, and new users will, for once, know that we exist. So please make sure to hit that like button so YouTube recommends this video. It's the most important thing we can do together here this morning to help advance the reach of our station. Other than that, we're going to have to look at Bitcoin, how it's up 1.3%, up 840 points. And we know we're trying to push back up towards that 66,600. If we can push up and over that, that's a very bullish setup. We know we're trying to have like what looks like an inverted pattern where we could very well have an inverted head and shoulders, as we talked about yesterday night on the live with Bitcoin. If you're new, you wouldn't have heard this, but if Bitcoin does pull up appropriately in most of crypto, we really did put in what looked like an inverted pattern here, inverted head and shoulders here on the immediate short term. So we're going to go into that, and we're going to talk every angle we can with technical analysis, and then we'll end it here at the very end with the SEC latest filing in Ripple lawsuit to go public, and then the date is announced. So we'll read that at the very end. So I do thank each and every one of you. I want a special shout out to the members of Tom's Army for paying it forward and allowing me to do what I do here and paying special care for what I do. And I greatly appreciate you respecting my time, as I do with each and every one of you who do. So with that being said, let me do the morning intro, and then we're going to get right into the charts. Good morning. 9:56 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Saturday, March 23rd, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So what do we need to do for XRP to follow through here? XRP starting off good right now. If XRP breaks bullish here, which is still a lot to be desired, obviously, and we don't know exactly where this is going to happen, but if XRP could break bullish from where we were yesterday, and we'll continue to move this down just so it can line up with if it were to break down to the bottom. But if it breaks out from this area, you're looking at about 74 cents. And we'll continue going to the downside, or to continue to measure up with this pattern attempted breakout here. But we're trying to break out of this formation. And let me switch this from green back to blue so it's easier to see. But we're trying to break out of that formation. And right now we're on the top side of it. If you can break from the top side here, this would be a fantastic signal. But that's only if you can break out. See? So we're right here. XRP right now is at 62. So we'll put it where it hit the bottom. just so that it makes sense. Now, if it comes back down and retaps it, then obviously we'll switch it. But right now, it's still bouncing off this spot, so that's like 75 cents. This is our bearish or bullish play right here. Had you have come down below this formation, you would have a technical drop. And even if you didn't break down, you would have had to come down here to 55 cents to the bottom of the formation to tap that uptrend a third time. As it is right now, if you break out, there's no reason to hit that a third time on support. It's hit it 3 times on resistance before pushing over. Now it back tested as a 4th time instead of hitting it as resistance. The 4th time's been support. So now we do have the ability to talk about a technical target if we were to break up. And that should push us somewhere around 75 cents. That's our technical zone. This we're going to take out of because we don't want to confuse everybody. So that's our technical breakup zone. Now, if we look at this a little bit deeper, which I find very interesting right now, we've got this bullish cup and handle, and it's bullish until it breaks down because a cup and handle by definition is a bullish pattern formation. It's after a long bout of consolidation, it manages to come back up to where it started to drop. And then when it builds the handle, and as long as you don't lose that handle support, you have a massive breakout that ends up happening. This is where you can start to go parabolic. And that doesn't mean you go up 800%. What I mean parabolic for XRP is if you break out of this cup and handle, the technical target's $1.20 from the area we're in right now. If we wait a little bit longer, it's $1.17. But if we do it from this area, let's just say it happens somewhere over here. Your technical target's right around $1.20, $1.21. On a breakout of this cup and handle, that's why I keep saying, if XRP doesn't break down, it's a bullish cup and handle until it's not. And technically in this kind of a setup, as we can see, the cup took quite some time to form. It started back in March of 2022. It took until July of 23. The handle forms after Ripple was ruled not a security to retail. So after that massive 94% pump up to like 93.4 cents, 93.5 cents, that's where we formed the cup. And then in a series of months after that, until now, we're still in the consolidation of the handle. Now, the only thing is if we come down and get rejected here at 633, that leads us down to the bottom of support at 50 cents. Now, conversely, if you're over 63.3 cents, then you have the ability to run up to the top resistance of the handle, which brings you to about 72.5 cents, which ironically, when we look at the technical target of the short pattern we broke out of, brings us around 74, which means, or 75, which means it pushes us over the top of this handle. And then the back test would be everything. If you could back test this, we know we have a technical target of $1.21. That's the technical target off of this handle setup. And you base that by measuring inside of the formation of the handle. And that gives you a key insight of how much pressure is built up so that we can see what the top end potential here is. It also tells you how much stored energy there is if it were to go to the downside and people start coming out of this position. So I like to have both angles represented. And yeah, that could bring you down to 2 to 4 cents in the worst possible case scenario. But in a cup and handle formation, these are meant to break bullish. 85% of the time, or 85 out of 100 times we're sitting in this spot, we will see it breaking up. But that means 15 times out of 100, something went wrong, the pattern broke down, the environment changed, the crypto market flipped upside down, whatever the case may be in an individual stock / crypto / commodity, whatever the case may be, a Forex, something changed massively for this to have to flip upside down. So to me, until this breaks down, I am looking at this bullish continuation. Even if it comes down to 50 cents and we have an 18% drop or 20% drop, unless that handle breaks, like I said, I'm looking for a bullish continuation because that is what this kind of a chart pattern suggests. And yes, our emotions can tell us 150,000 different things, but until it breaks down, it's still bullish to me. I am not a financial advisor, so at the end of the day, what do I know? But I am trying to give you my perspective in anticipation of what's to come with these setups. And if it breaks to the next level in time, I believe we're working on a massive cup here. And this isn't even the end of it, but this is a cup that goes back to April of 2021. And it would be exactly like what we've seen with Bitcoin, but we would have to come all the way to $1.97. But that wouldn't happen until you had a tug up to 121, We're able to break up and use that as a support. And then your next big move, based on the size of the last handle, you'll see how it would break up even higher now. And then that's how you'd retest $1.97. What I find interesting about this is, though, if this plays true, and I've showed this a million times to my audience in the lives and then in the updates, if XRP played true and we got up to that $1.97, look how big. We could have the biggest W that I have ever seen. And you don't see this very often. You don't see this very often, but this would obviously have to play out true. But this is the speculation of how you could get back up to all-time highs. But you would have to continue to play this out. And like, I want to show sometimes the perspective of good. We can see what's happening here. We can see what kind of setup we have. We can see how we could get up there, but I think what's being missed is if this actually plays out bullish like it should, look at the size of that W. If that's the case, I mean, you want to talk about if we form a W of that size, right? And then if we hook up to all-time highs, I mean, could you imagine the way this pattern's going to look? Because if we break up, it's turning into a massive W right before our very eyes. But boom. Now it just needs to pull up now. If we pull up and we play true like Bitcoin did, you're talking about a massive opportunity here. I would say once in a lifetime opportunity, unless you bought it before the huge runs up from when it was under a penny and multiple zeros, you know, before it was really a name. But if you're talking about recent opportunity and recent memory, I can't think of something like this. This has been so stored up with pressure. It's on the cusp right now. We are so on the cusp of something bigger that it's incredible time to be part of this journey. And like, to me, if you were selling out of XRP, you cannot, in good faith, sell out unless you broke bearish out of that handle, which means you would have to sit through this until 50 cents gave up. And I'm just being honest. You will not sell out of this in a bullish handle, because until this breaks out, I call it a bullish handle because a cup and handle pattern is extremely bullish. If we want to have a rally this weekend, we very well could have a big push up here. If we get up over this yellow line at 60, it's now about 63 cents. I say 633 for the overside, 633 cents on the support side, 633 on the resistance side. But if it breaks out of the 63 cents, you could be looking at a 17% move to the top of the handle. As we know, the technical target breaking up out of the prior formation is 75 cents. So this actually lines up pretty damn good. Because if we break out of this, our technical target's 75 cents. So then you figure if we came up over, we're on top of this the first resistance side of the handle. When you're on the bottom of this handle, it can always have a drop. If you get rejected, it always has an opportunity to drop 20% down to that 50 cent mark, which is the bottom of the handle. However, the moment you get over the top of this and hold, at any time you can rally 18% of the top side to 74, 75 cents, the top of the handle. And then if you break over that is when the big move happens to $1.21. If you can break bullish over this handle, this is how you could get that massive, massive move for XRP. So that's the technical analysis with XRP. I think 13.5 minutes on XRP is good. We've got the XRP Bitcoin pairing, and this suggests breakout as well. We're just trying to get past this last layer, but we do have a bull flag set. And my opinion is, if we can hold this 966, we should be coming up here at some point to the 1131. So watch the risk appropriately, but it looks like we have something started here. Unless we break down, XRP has something started here on this Saturday morning. And we talked about yesterday during the live, the sneaky weekend pump. As long as we did not break down the barrier, as we talked about when we first started, if we could bounce off of this, we had a nice return rally of about 20% up to 75 cents. Right now, we're doing just that. So if it continues to play true, we're going to have a good weekend. XRP up 3.27% on 1.09 billion at 34.64 billion. For anybody who was here last night, we talked about the bounce off. We came down beautifully. And now if we could use this as support, it looks like we have an inverted left arm, inverted head, inverted right arm. And if it pulls up, we should be coming right up here to that 38.9 billion. And what did we say yesterday in the days leading into this? We said, everybody's going to say, well, how the hell did this happen? How could we not see that inversion if it pulls up? It's because there's a lot of manipulation being pushed in our face right now. A lot of different variables, because if you're going long, they want you liquidated. If you're going short, they want you liquidated. It's a game against the leverage traders. Right now with Bitcoin, we had updated this as well so that we could see exactly what Bitcoin was doing and we wouldn't be confused here. So with Bitcoin, we've got that downtrending resistance as we know. We've filled out the technical target, but we've speculated. We need to get over this downtrending resistance as we know. Here, let me fix this. We need to get over this downtrending resistance for Bitcoin. There's simply no other way to look at this. So we started here, right up at the top. And Bitcoin, for whatever reason, has not been able to get over this very volatile, well, not for whatever reason, but it's been consolidating after a big breakout. And like, there's so many ways to look at this, but even if you put it into a squeeze size, but Bitcoin, if you're asking me, if we can break off of here, we've already had this. We had a technical projection here. If it broke off of this area, well, we expect that it'll come up somewhere like that. And the only reason we expect this, let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. The only reason we expect this to bounce off of this area, if it held a technical target, is because then if you look at this, yes, it created a small M-topping reversal if you look in the smaller time frames, but bringing it out in the daily or bigger, wouldn't it make more sense if this was a topping reversal to come up here and then come down like this? And then if it was bearish to come down? I believe that this is what's probably happening if it's bearish. I think it would be pretty interesting for it to just come straight down and not double tap that. Yes, I understand the M-topping reversal in the smaller time frames have already hit that. But technically, with such an amount of pressure getting up there and so much steam, you would think that if this would come up and hit a big M, like that it would be a real big M here, not just in a smaller time frame. You would think with how much this came up, if it really is an M-topping reversal, you're going to get a real M-topping reversal out of this if it happens. I'm just saying, I think it needs to come up and do it once more. Even if it's bearish, if it's bullish and this breaks up, you're talking about 85,000 is the next area if this breaks to the top side. But I am keeping that uptrending resistance up there because I believe even if it's bearish, Bitcoin leading into the halving is probably going to have a bullish pump, regardless of if it's bearish or bullish here. So if it pushes up, that's what I'd be looking for. Obviously, we still have things to do. We still have to break over levels. Very key for Bitcoin is 66,600 if it wants to make this move. It's just that simple. But we have talked about a sneaky inverted pattern where they pulled down that inverted right arm much more than they should have. What if this is what they did to try to get people out and then it does something like this? And then we make up our mind. Because I'm seeing that flashing everywhere. Now, if we break down and we lose this area, simple, 57,000 is, or 56.5 to 57,000 is the target depending on where it hits down there, and that's the broadening wedge support. So just pay attention to that with Bitcoin because we broke out of a broadening wedge. We're yet to back test it, so if that happens, so be it. As you can see in the 4-hourly, you can see that little M that formed up there. And we're speculating when you get into higher time frames, especially in the daily, the weekly, that it would come up there and create a bigger M that it's trying to tease us right now. Because I find it hard to believe Bitcoin came all the way up here and you're not going to have one last relief rally in case the whales or whatever want to get out. Typically, this is where you would have that quick reversal, and then you could create like a Batman top if that's the case. So that's what I'm seeing from the technical analysis side. If you did appreciate what I did here this morning, make sure to hit that like button so YouTube recommends this update. Hit that subscribe button and join the over 21,000 people if you want to see continued updates. If you're looking to position yourself for XRP during this move up or down, or you just want to have an exchange where the liquidity is there and it's available during the high times of volatility, in the video description below and or pinned comments, BITUNIX, they have the lowest spot and leverage trading fees on the market in the USA. And it's really simple to use. You don't need a VPN like most other exchanges in the USA that offer leverage and spot in the same place. And then other than that, you don't need to do a KYC if you're sending money from another exchange or withdrawing to another exchange. If you want to show me personal support, consider joining Tom's Army or sending one YouTube super chat per month as we're coming to an end of this month already, unbelievably, in the next week, which is pretty crazy. So one last reading and then I'll release this. SEC latest filing in Ripple lawsuit to go public, date announced. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has filed its opening remedies brief in the ongoing legal tussle against Ripple. Prominent XRP lawyer James K. Feline made this known in an X post today, emphasizing that SEC's opening remedies related brief and supporting documents were filed under seal. XRP, and this is James K. Phelan's official X, or verified X. XRP Community SEC Gov versus Ripple XRP. The SEC Gov is filed under seal. It's opening remedies related brief and supporting documents. These documents are not yet public. Yet, public redacted versions will be filed no later than Tuesday, March 26, 2024. Since these documents were filed under seal, they will be available to the public once necessary redactions are implemented. So now they get to redact and take out what they don't want us to see, which is all the BS that I was talking about. This is why I don't appreciate the fact that they put this under seal. As a holder, I have the right to know before something's redacted. When it's redacted, they're going to black it out of the official document, and we're not going to be able to see what they said. So we don't get to know. That's not how it's supposed to work as a holder in a company, period. And by holding XRP, you technically have a small stake within Ripple. Just the way it works. Don't shoot the messenger. Specifically, the SEC and Ripple Labs will meet and confer on March 25th to deliberate on the necessary redactions. After implementing these redactions, the SEC will file a redacted version of remedies briefed in public docket by March 26th, which doesn't do us shit. That's like seeing a government bill and they redact everything. It doesn't do you anything. They block out all the good information. So that's very disappointing, honestly, as a holder. It is worth mentioning that the move is in line with the sealing request made by the parties earlier this week. The parties will also go through a similar process when Ripple files its opposition next month on April 22nd. Ripple will file its opposition to the SEC's opening remedies brief under seal. What do they have to hide? Both companies, SEC and Ripple, have something to hide, obviously, and they don't want to tell us something. If Ripple is doing something with trading bots, I want to know about it. If Ripple is doing something to deceive us as investors, I want to know about it. If the SEC is doing something to deceive us, I want to know about it. There's no reason it should be redacted. Both parties will meet and confer to identify necessary redactions by April 23rd, and a redacted version of opposition will be filed April 24th, so all the bullshit will come to us the day after. Additionally, the SEC will also file its reply to Ripple's opposition using the same format. According to the joint sealing proposal, after the reply is filed under seal on May 6th, the parties will meet and confer to make redactions by May 7th before filing in the edit on May 8th. See, this is all nonsense. Something deeper is going on. The sealing proposals are necessary and they would help protect the sensitive information of the parties involved in the lawsuit and third parties. For instance, Ripple needs to protect certain information contained in its financial records and contracts used to sell XRP to institutional customers after the lawsuit was filed. And why? I want to know. I want to know what tactics they use for institutional investors over retail. We have the right to know that as retail. Recall that Ripple was ordered to submit its financial statements from 22 to 23 in post-complaint contracts governing institutional sales. The SEC requested documents to support its argument in the remedies phase of the lawsuit. Some experts speculated that the SEC needed the documents to argue that Ripple's ODL-related XRP sales also constitute investment contracts so that the court could impose a larger fine against the company. Good, I want to know then. Don't redact it. I want to know. Don't black it out. While the court held that Ripple violated the law by selling $770 million worth of XRP to institutional clients, top crypto expert Zach Rector speculated. Who cares? I don't care what he speculated about. Top lawyer John Deaton predicted that Ripple would not pay a fine exceeding the amount it has spent as legal fees, which was around $200 million at the time of the remark. So if you look at all the Ripple sales of XRP during this recent push up, I mean, you could certainly see that maybe there's a settlement going on behind closed doors or something deeper that we don't know. But because everything's being redacted, even as a holder, we're getting slapped in the face here. I'm XRP future millionaire. Don't lose your faith, but you certainly should be a little frustrated here. As a holder, you have every right to know what's going on with Ripple. And for them to keep pulling the wool over our eyes, it's not a good look for investors. If they want people to keep coming into XRP, but they continue to treat us like a pile of you-know-what, it's not a good look for new investors. However, with that being said, we're looking very bullish right now. Look at the aforementioned numbers, and if XRP does manage to hold this breakout attempt, we've got a nice rally in the store here. So make sure to hit that like button. Have a safe and blessed weekend. If you made it until the end, hashtag be better, do better in the comments.